Hey, what's up? Hello, everyone. Welcome into Fantasy Filmball, the show where we turn movies into sports and sports into something we don't talk about here. My name is Matt.
My name is Dyl, and we are back after, a little bit of a break, but this time with a brand new draft. Matt has been gone at the Toronto International Film Festival. I had the Virginia Film Festival coming up soon. By the time this video is out, the lineup will be announced, so why not do today's draft all about our favorite films and best experiences at our specific film festivals.
This is about our experiences in the past at our festivals. Some of the best movies that we have seen through the years at our festivals, and some of the best experiences. Me at TIFF, Dylan at Virginia. Film festivals are an amazing place to discover new movies, and that's what we're really focusing on today. We always do this based on who won the previous week, and Dylan swept last week. It was a landslide victory for Dylan, but Dylan, you get the first pick. What is the best film you've ever seen at a film festival?
Well, there was this little trend Virginia was doing for a while where they played the best picture winner every year in a few years in a row. I mean, we had Green Book. We followed that up with the one in 2019. And 2020, we had Nomadland. So, they had these winners. So I'm taking that winner from 2019. I got to see Parasite in the middle of October, and I just remember walking into the theater not really knowing what I'm getting myself into. I know it had performed very well at Cannes. The Rays were there, but this is kind of before it had really caught on in the award circuit. And then I was like, yes, this thing is great. I hope it can do something. And as we all know, it went on to win Best Picture.
And is probably one of the best picture winners of all time. Yeah, I remember that festival season, everyone just going, wait, is Parasite an Oscar thing? Anyways, so the way I'm going to do my draft today, I'm not just going to pick the 5 best films. For each of these films, I'm going to talk about a different part of the festival experience. So for my first film that I'm going to take today, I'm going to take the first big movie that I ever saw at a film festival. I've been going to TIFF since I was 13 years old. I went for the first time in 2012. I was a high school freshman, and I'd been begging my parents to take me to TIFF for years at that point as a young movie lover. And there was one movie that year at TIFF that the trailer came out for, and it blew my mind. And I was like, I need to go and see this movie. One of the biggest films that I've ever seen at TIFF, Cloud Atlas, remains one of my favorite movies of all time. And I think I have such a soft spot for it because of how excited I was for that movie. To be in that room, to see Tom Hanks there. This is the first time I've ever seen celebrities in person, and the cast was huge. The movie blew me away. It was just an amazing first experience at a film festival, and the first big movie that I ever saw at TIFF. Not the best movie that I've seen at TIFF, but one of the best experiences I had at the festival. Then, this is sort of a two-parter here, because on one hand, I was very excited to see Guillermo del Toro in person, but also we got to see this movie on one of the sets that this movie was shot in, because The Shape of Water shot in Toronto, and all of the movie theater scenes in that movie were shot inside the Elgin Theater, which is where all of the TIFF screenings of this movie happened. I was actually sitting in one of the seats where there's a scene in the movie where we see the fish monster, the creature, standing in one of the seats. And my friend and I, we looked at each other when that scene came on and went, oh my God, those are our seats. We're sitting there right now. So what an amazing experience hearing Guillermo del Toro talk about his film, and not just that, but being in one of the locations that was so integral to that film was really, really cool, and one of the coolest experiences that I've ever had at a film festival.
That's super cool, the whole Shape of Water story. I could just, imagine how, when that scene came on, you were talking about, the feeling you must have had inside, oh my gosh, I'm sitting right where the movie I'm watching actually is taking place. So we talked about at the beginning of this episode, Searchlight, send your new movie here, because in 2018, you did that. I got to see The Favorite, and that was my favorite movie of that year, and I'm pretty sure Poor Things could be that as well. I'm a huge Yorgos Lanthimos fan. While I'm not a big fan of Killing of a Sacred Deer, Lobster, Favorite, Dogtooth, love all 3 of those. Poor Things were probably the same. Emma Stone's probably my favorite actress, and I don't know, The Favorite just checked off every box for me, and I just ate that movie up. So I have a 2018, I have a 2019, so those are my first year at the festival. So let's go to my most recent year at the festival. Last year, 2022, I saw 12, 13 movies there. Some good, some bad, but one stands head and shoulders above the rest because it was kind of our meme here on the channel last year, and it's the only movie I've ever rushed. I know you just had those TIFF vlogs where you had to rush standby line for multiple movies. I've only done it once. I was the first person in line, and I was the only person to make it into this movie. That little donkey that could. EO 2022. Welcome to the team.
You were the only person in the rush line that made it in?
The rush line was probably 50 or so people long. I got there maybe an hour before because like EO is the only ticket they couldn't give me for like my press pass. So, like, we sold out. We can't give up press tickets for this. If you want to, stand the standby line. It's like, cool. I'm seeing My Father's Dragon in the morning. I will just sit in front of EO for however long it takes because I do not want to miss that movie. And it's a good thing I did because that movie never came out to like my local indie theater at all during its theatrical run. So I would have had to wait till it came on streaming like February or March of last year.
Man, the hype in Virginia for EO. Virginia's cool.
I know.
You guys know what's up.
I mean, the donkey, we all know about the donkey, and that was like my favorite experience at Virginia last year. Like, that was my first year going as press, but talking to people, and they're like, oh, what movie are you most excited for? People would say, oh, it's Glass Onion, it's women talking. No, it's EO, the movie about a donkey from a donkey's perspective.
EO is an amazing film, and it's really cool that people were so excited about it there. All right, for my next movie, I'm going to take a midnight movie because an integral part of the TIFF experience is those Midnight Madness crowds. They are so much fun. They're so rowdy. I have to give a shout out to this one as the best people because in 2017, it was my first year at university in Toronto. I had moved from my hometown to the city, and even though I'd previously done TIFF every year, I'd come in for just 3 days. I'd come in with my parents. So 2017 was the first time I was doing TIFF on my own and TIFF with new university friends. There was one movie at the midnight crowd that I really wanted to see, but it sold out instantly. And I was planning to go and rush that movie. And then I started talking to some classmates and saying, oh yeah, I'm seeing this at TIFF tonight. I'm gonna go rush. I think I'm gonna get there 2 hours before. And they said, oh, we're gonna get there 2 hours before. And then we looked at each other and went, if we're all getting there 2 hours before, that means other people will get there 2 hours before, which means we should probably get there earlier. So all of us got together and we said, all right, let's go, and we're going to spend like 6 hours in line. We'll take shifts. We're going to brave this rush line the entire time together. And that's how I met some of my closest friends at The Disaster Artist. And we brought out a laptop and we watched The Room in the rush line in preparation for this movie. These are some of the best people that I've met at TIFF, and people are such an integral part of film festivals. So yeah, for me, this is an unforgettable experience, being in the same room as Tommy Wiseau talking about it, but really for me, it's the people that make that movie stand out. Then after that, I am going to talk about, in 2018, I had what I refer to as the greatest film festival day of all time, which is the day when in the morning, I woke up early and went out to the world's first IMAX to get into a rush line for First Man. Then I left that rush line to go and see Widows, came back for First Man, then went into the city to see If Beale Street Could Talk, wrapped up the day with Mid-90s and Midnight Climax. That is the most insane day of movie watching, but I can't take a full day worth of movies, so I have to pick one movie out of that crazy lineup of 5 films. And the movie I'm going to take is First Man. This was the first screening of First Man in Toronto, and it was playing in IMAX at the Ontario Place Cinesphere, which is the world's first permanent IMAX theater. I was just a huge Damien Chazelle stan. I would say I still am, less so after Babylon, but
Babylon.
Just seeing him talk about the film, it meant so much to me. And not just that, this was the screening that my fiance Sierra, she tripped over Denis Villeneuve, who was sitting just a few seats away from us. So it was an overwhelming experience seeing the first screening of this film in IMAX with Chazelle, with Villeneuve. Honestly, just everything about this blew my mind, and it's one of the best experiences I've ever had at a film festival.
Those are two super cool experiences, and you talk about seeing movies with the people involved in the movie themselves. That will be for my next pick. Back in 2021, I went to a Q&A of Mass that had Martha Plimpton there, and it was a great experience overall. I mean, Mass is a good movie. It's just you walk out of it not feeling great. I thought that was one of my first Q&As I've ever been to, and it was just really fun to be in a room with someone who's actually there, involved in the movie, getting to ask them questions, interacting with them, and watching a movie kind of like that, especially after everything had gone through the last year or so. It was a very welcoming and warm experience, which I know is kind of like contradictory to the movie itself, but it just makes sense. And to round up my team, 2020, the COVID year, Virginia, they said, no, we're still going to have a film festival this year. And they did it via drive-in. So I saw 3 movies there. They played 4. They played Nomadland, which went on to win Best Picture. They played Minari. They played Ammonite. But the one I'm going to pick is the opening night movie, and the one I think I enjoy the most out of all 4 of those, and that is One Night in Miami. This one, I thought it was kind of elevated by watching that old school kind of drive-in type feel. It's basically a very contained film, a bunch of actors just in one room that occasionally get to go out. And I thought everyone in that ensemble was great. I had a blast with it. I feel like the movie is one of those where you can always put it on and find something to appreciate it after each watch.
All right, for my last pick here, I have to go with the craziest celebrity encounters. This is going to be last year's The Fabelmans. That was the night that not only did I get to see Steven Spielberg in person, which was one of the craziest things that I've ever experienced in my life, being in the same room as Spielberg, but after the movie, I met up with some of my friends who happened to also be hanging out with a couple of celebrities, including Finn Wolfhard and Fred Heckinger from The White Lotus. He's in Gladiator 2 coming up. And so the craziest celeb encounter that I've had was after The Fabelmans, because we all went walking around Toronto and we tried to get into the A24 party. And it turned out that it was actually the following day, not that day. So we went all the way to where the party would be, went inside, and oh, there's no party here. That's crazy. All right, Fred, check your invitation. Okay, it's tomorrow instead. All right, well, I guess not tonight. And then we just went and got milkshakes, and literally we were out until 4 a.m. Such a crazy experience, and I've never experienced something like that at TIFF before then, or, in the 1 year after. This year I didn't get to experience any crazy encounter like that. It was surreal, especially after an amazing movie like The Fabelmans. That is my lineup. And just to recap, first overall, I took Cloud Atlas, the first big movie that I saw at a film festival. Then The Shape of Water, which I remember for the amazing experience of seeing in the same location that it was shot in. Then I took The Disaster Artist to represent the people that I met and the connections that I built at the festival. Then I took First Man as just a transcendent experience of getting to be around these filmmakers that I idolized and worshipped in an IMAX theater. And finally, The Fabelmans, not just for seeing Spielberg, but for everything that happened in that crazy night afterwards.
And on the flip side, my team filled of movies I saw at the Virginia Film Festival kicks us off with Parasite 2019. Seeing a Best Picture winner that early before the hype for it really started was really fun to be a part of. Like, yeah, this movie should get Oscars. Follow that up with 2018, where I saw my favorite movie of the year at a film festival being The Favorite. Last year, 2022, my only Rush experience so far for that little donkey EO. And then in 2021, a Q&A for Mass. And in 2020, still getting to go to a film festival in the middle of a pandemic via a drive-in style with One Night in Miami. But as always, vote for whatever team has, your favorite collection of movies, or with this draft, because there's more to it. Which one has the better stories connected to it, whatever. Go to the YouTube community tab, cast your vote, and let us know down below, what movie would you pick? Have you been to a film festival? Could it be TIFF? Could be Virginia? Could be anything. What has been your best film festival experience, and what movie was that attached to? But until next time, my name is Dyl.
And my name is Matt, and this is Fantasy Filmball.